Hi, welcome to West Brom Fan TV. It's Freddie, and I'm joined by fan favourite Dave. Dave, you all right?
How you doing, guys?
So, Dave's actually, well, obviously with the vlogs and stuff, it's actually been a while since you've been involved in one of these videos, hasn't it?
Yeah, bit of long while, yeah. So I had a bit of a break over the lockdowns and everything. But I'm glad to be back in a guest capacity.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, Luton first of all, before we touch on Sheffield United on Wednesday.
Yeah,
Um, I think it was a lot more nervy than it should have been. I mean, we were 3-0 up, coasting. In
mm,
fact, I think we could have been 4-5 up.
yeah,
But we gave away that first goal, which really shouldn't have happened, and then they got a second.
no,
But overall, I think it was more important we got the 3 points and got off the mark.
indeed, yes. It was very, very nervy. It's the Albion way of things, isn't it? You think you're
Yeah,
safe, and then you kind of are put into that nervy position. Yeah, we should have wrapped it up at 3-0. Should have kept it that way, but
yeah,
defensive errors, but I'm glad we got the 3 points.
I agree.
So
There's certain positive signs as well, and I think we've got we've got a very tough test coming up in Sheffield United. Now
indeed.
they've not had a brilliant start to the season, though, have they?
No, I have watched both their matches so far against Birmingham and Swansea,
They're
and
terrible
they were
both times.
poor in both of them. And you'd expect with the team that they've got on paper and the manager that they've got to be doing a lot better. But of course, it's only 2 games in, so
I agree.
you know, give them a bit of time to gel. But again, this is this core of the team that came ninth in the Premier League, so should be doing better.
I think what surprised me is the fact that I mean I watched both the games a bit like you.
Yeah.
And even though they lost to Birmingham, I thought they were worse against Swansea. I thought that's one of the worst games I've watched in a long, long time.
It was very, very flat.
It
Yeah.
was.
I mean, like I said, if you look on paper at the team, it's an extremely strong team. I mean,
Yeah,
Ramsdale, Egan, Basham, O'Connell, Berger. It's a very, very strong side,
yeah,
and you'd expect them to sort of fly out the traps, and gain points straight away. But I mean, 1 out of 6
yeah.
isn't good.
Oh,
So
one thing I wanted to touch on in particular, you just mentioned it was Ramsdale because you're probably looking at a game that has arguably, I'd say, two of the best three keepers, including Gazaniga, Johnson,
yes,
Ramsdale.
yes,
There's
yes,
two of
yes.
them in this game, so I think this is going to be a big. I think the goalkeepers are going to play a big part of this match.
I completely agree. Both England keepers and they're in the championship still. It
Yep.
is kind of baffling.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I think it's going to be a very, very interesting game because, it's two teams that have come down from the Premier League. They've both, in a sense, kept their strong ones. Maybe,
Yeah.
we've lost Pereira and everything, but I'm very surprised that Sheffield United haven't sold more of their
I was
players,
surprised as well. They've got some.
especially Sander Berger.
Sander Berger was exactly the one I was going to say. He's a brilliant player. I think they paid 22 million for him.
Yes,
Bruce,
he's
Bruce,
a very good player.
Brewster was 22 million as well. I mean, you got to look at. I mean, they've had a poor start, but you can't take that into consideration. I think because
No, no.
each team wants to have get off the mark, and unfortunately, with the sort of side that we've got, top or bottom, West Brom are going to have a bullseye on their head for most of the season as a team that people are going to want to show up.
Indeed,
And
indeed.
and
It'll be us and Fulham, I think. I
I
mean,
agree.
Fulham absolutely battered us, Huddersfield at the weekend, didn't they? So the
Yeah,
strength of the side that they've got, we're definitely going to have targets on our head.
I,
So
I mean, look back at the last game that Hawthorns we played at Sheffield United. We won 1-0, and then the one before that we lost 1-0. So I don't know,
I,
but
I, I, I think I remember that was Kieran Dowell. I think scored the winner in
yeah,
that one game. We played really poor.
it
Yeah,
was awful.
yeah. So
I think it's a really tough one with Albion because we have the strength to beat these, but on the plus side, they have the strength to beat us, and it's just what team
yeah,
performs best on the day. It's going to be a
it's
good
whoever
game.
turns up on the meat. Yes.
Um,
So
I think Sheffield United they play possession football, which means that it. I don't know if it plays into our hands, but Val likes a high press, so it means we're not going to be as pressed as highly as other sides, but it still it leaves us open to counter attacks because they've got some players that are lightning in that side.
Yes. I spotted that in the Luton game. There were quite a few times when we were exposed at the back, pretty much, and it was very, very likely at times you could see the Luton players coming forward, and obviously Johnston had to be a kind of sweeper keeper in that game because
I've never
if he
seen him
hadn't
like
come out
that.
far. Yeah, it was very, very different, but it's a very high pressing type of game, and it's very, very unique. You didn't see this with Allardyce or Bilic or Moore or anybody like it's very, very unique. But I think as well, I've got a feeling that there's going to be a few, maybe one or two changes in this game, and I think one player I do not want to see feature is Kenneth Sahor.
I knew you were going to say that.
He was absolutely terrible. So I don't know if you were going to go on to say that, but I was quite appalled by his performance.
I was going to say I couldn't think. I'm struggling to think of a worse cameo sub appearance. I couldn't believe what I was watching. He just didn't look interested. He looked out of energy. He was on the pitch for 15 minutes, and he looked more out of energy than Callum Robinson did after 75.
I know it's not good. He looks unfit. He looks unenthusiastic. You don't know what's going on back behind the scenes, but it wasn't good. It was very, very poor. It wasn't even League Two standard, his performance. It was very, very poor. And I'll be surprised if he makes appearances in the next few games. I'll be honest, I think if Vig Val gets another striker in on loan or permanent, I think that's Sahor gone out on loan or permanent because he's not up to scratch for us, unfortunately.
Not at all. So before we get into our score prediction, quick touch on our key players. I mean, one thing I was very pleased with was Grant getting off the mark.
Yes, very good goal.
Yeah, because he missed a sitter earlier in the game, so I'm pleased he did get that goal in the end. Robinson looked dangerous again. Mowat looked dangerous again. Matt Clark impressed me.
Yeah, there was all really good. I'll be honest, in that first half, a lot of players impressed me. And if we play like that in the way we did in the first half throughout the season, then we're going to have a very good one, I think.
Yeah, we're going to be very, very tough
But we just got to be careful at the back because there was a few mix-ups with Johnston, Townsend, Bartley, but I think the one advantage we've got this time is that we've got a manager who will not take fools gladly. I bet he went back into that changing room and he probably went, "Don't do that again on my watch or else." My confidence in him is very high. So
mine too. I think what surprised me is the fact that defensively there's been really promising signs, but there's just been slip-ups. I mean, if you've got a look, we've conceded 4 goals in 2 games, and me and you, Dave, we've been at both games. And to be honest, all 4 goals that we've conceded so far this season have been down to individual errors.
Yes.
So collectively, I think defensively we could have a very promising season, but we just need to cut out the errors.
Yeah, I mean that's been our kind of bugbear, really, hasn't it? In the last 2 times we've been in the Championship, it was defensive problems, or not being very consistent. Individual mistakes. It's just something that we've got to correct. But I'm very, very confident that Valérien Ismaël is the man to stamp out the errors, and just get better throughout time. So I think we're going to do okay, but like I said, this one's going to be a very, very big, a big challenge for us, I think.
So we'll get onto our score predictions. So we're all very excited. It's great to be back at the Hawthorn, so I can't wait to be back again. But let's get our score predictions. So Dave, you have the honours first.
I am going to be ambitious on this one. I'm going to say 2-1 Albion.
2-1.
I'm going to say Robinson, and I'm going to say Carlin Grant. and I will say Sander Berge to score for them. So fingers crossed, hope for a win.
I went with nearly, genuinely, I actually got it written down here, exactly the same. I went 2-1 Albion, Grant and Robinson to score, but I went with Lise Mousset to score for Sheffield United.
Yeah.
One tiny little thing before we go is, how good was it to be back at the Hawthorns?
You can't describe it. You cannot describe it. I mean, I was in the Bromwich Road, and it's kind of renowned for being the quieter of the stands. I will tell you something. Anybody in that stand will tell you that when the players came out from the tunnel, the noise was deafening. It was just absolutely fantastic. Great to see people, who I sit with, who I've known for a good while.
You just looked around the stadium and there was hugs everywhere. It was lovely.
Yes, it's nice to see. It's really, really nice to see. To get back to normality and to, in a way, kind of get our identities back. Because when the lockdowns came in a sense, we all kind of had our identities stolen. We couldn't go to football and all that kind of thing, and you don't truly kind of recover that way until you go back. Till you're back home. So I'm very, very happy. So.
Me too. I'll look forward to seeing you there. And again, same note, try and hit 100 likes. Again, you see us, say hello. We're friendly and we love to meet you all.
Exactly.
And we cannot wait. It's good to be back, and I can't wait for this game. See you soon, Dave. Have a good one, and see you all the fans as well. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.